I'd like to welcome everybody to the Lighthouse Project special online session tonight, the night before Rosh Hashana. We want to thank our gracious host, Joseph Dornbush from H&M Builders, who is one of our sponsors, who is allowing us to use this space tonight to get these Divrei Torah out. Also like to get a special shout out, special recognition to one of our other sponsors, Stacy Bouton, a righteous woman from the East Coast. Be'ezrat Hashem, that you have a healthy and happy New Year, an excellent Rosh Hashana for you, your kids, your family, and Besurot Tovot. Tonight, we're doing something unique, something special. This lesson was supposed to be in full in the last recording, but the battery ran out, and we couldn't let all this Torah go to waste. The people that were there, Baruch Hashem, 20 or 30 people were able to listen to it while they were there, but of course to the hundreds and possibly even thousands that are online, we didn't want you to miss out on it. So what we're going to do tonight is give you a quick rundown of last week's lesson and pick up where we left off. Basically, we're continuing our spiritual preparation for Rosh Hashanah. This is going to be a step-by-step guide to tomorrow and the day after. Rosh Hashanah is a 48-hour period, and during this 48 hours, the whole year's events and happenings are going to get decided. Everything. Health, finances, marriages, divorces, children, financial successes, financial hardships, life's plethora of events are going to be decided on Rosh Hashanah. And we spoke about how you have to stay in the zone, how you have to stay connected during this time. This is a 48-hour period where you're challenging yourself to be completely happy, not allowed to get angry, not allowed to have any foreign feelings or foreign thoughts that are going to get you out of the zone of being happy, being connected to the spiritual energy of that day, as well as getting to the point where you're activating all that's possible to be activated in this 48-hour period. And I can tell you, these 2 days are fully packed. They're fully packed with opportunities to change the outcome of your upcoming year. It all depends when are you going to get plugged in. It all depends if you are going to get plugged in. What kind of a Rosh Hashanah is it going to be? So what we're doing here tonight is we want to give you all the pit stops, all the places where you can get plugged in and have a successful Rosh Hashanah, as opposed to squandering these next few days and not having them really give the fruits that they're able to do. Quick catch up on last week's lesson. We said that the 48 hours of Rosh Hashanah decide the next 365 days. So if you do a quick math calculation, every Rosh Hashanah hour comes out to roughly 7.5 days. So whatever you do for about an hour on Rosh Hashanah dictates for about a week's worth of your life in the upcoming year. So for example, if somebody is getting angry for an hour or two, you better believe it that 2 weeks worth, 14 to 15 days out of your upcoming year is going to be dealing with anger. You're going to be sad on Rosh Hashanah for an hour, for two, for half a day, for 1 day. Imagine 1 day of Rosh Hashanah you're sad and 1 day you're happy. Imagine that half the year you're prone to be sad. You have to stay in the zone. You have to do your mental push-ups and make sure that on Rosh Hashanah you don't lose that focus of being happy, not getting angry, being loving, being forgiving, and tap into all the different places that you can on that day. Now, it's a real 48-hour challenge. If you've never done it before, do it this year. If you've never taken upon yourself to just be completely connected to Akadosh Baruch Hu, to Rosh Hashanah for 2 days, take upon yourself tomorrow to do it. It will determine the outcome of the entire next year. If anyone is concerned with their life, if anybody cares about their life, if anybody really wants to better their life in any way, more than any course, more than any, spiritual reading or studying, if you really want to just have a better outlook or a better outcome of the upcoming year, concentrate on these next 2 days. We said that on the Rosh Hashanah has 2 days. The first day is Dina Kashya, the second day is Dina Rafya. The first day is strict judgment, the second day is a looser judgment. Still Din, but it's a looser judgment. But before we start on those 2 days, tomorrow, right before Rosh Hashanah, what are you going to do? What is the preparation for Rosh Hashanah? So we said very quickly, it's good to cut your nails, good to get a haircut, good to go to the mikveh. It's good to wear some white clothes, wear some new clothes, so you can say Shechianu. We spoke about while you're in the mikveh that you should take a knife and dip it in a silver knife and dip it in the mikveh as well, so like that you can bring it to the table, because it's a big segula, a big virtue to have a knife, a brand new knife on the table on Rosh Hashanah. And we learned that from Avraham Avinu in the time of Akedat Yitzchak that happened at the same time of Rosh Hashanah. It says, Vaikach Avraham et ha'ma'achelet. The word ma'achelet means knife, and because ma'achelet is close to the word food or sustenance or parnasa, we have a siman, a segula, a sign that we do, where we do a brand new knife on the table, and has a big segula, big virtue for parnasa on that year. It's good to tap into it. A lot of people tonight, or possibly tomorrow morning, are going to go to shul and do hatarat nedarim. This is the annulment of the vows. Very, very important that you come into Rosh Hashanah without any baggage of unkept promises. Unkept promises to your family, to your friends, to your business partners, or just people that you talk to on the phone. I'll call you back in a half hour. I'll see you there tomorrow. I'll be right there. And you didn't keep those promises. They're going to, in Shemaim, they say, hey, you said this. Why didn't you keep your word? So it's good to do Hatarat Nedarim. And, this Hatarat Nedarim also, some people think it's just for if I made a big promise. I promised to make a big donation for $50,000 and I didn't pay. I need help on Hatarat Nedarim. It's not. It's sometimes when you tell your kids that, I'm going to take you to the park in a half hour, and it doesn't happen for 2 hours. You tell your wife you're going to call her back in a minute. It doesn't happen for 5 hours. Those things are vows. You made a promise. It wasn't kept. Sometimes it's for the small things that are this Hatarat Nedarim is most useful for. Before the holiday, you should prepare your family and the entire group that's coming over. The entire group of people that are coming over for the holiday, let them know, guys, it's 48 hours of pure happiness, laughter, mitzvot, tefillah, no anger, no anger with the adults, no zingers, no digging into each other, going into, keeping the kedusha, and you want everyone to be on point. You even want to take the kids and you sit them down, you tell them, kids, for the next 2 days, you have to behave. You can't do this and you can't do that. You can't misbehave. You can't yell. You can't scream. Even if you have to promise him some toys, even if you have to promise him something, in order to get the outcome of a successful 48 hours. Prepare everybody. Be on the same page. Don't be that one guy on the table that is flying to the ceiling and oh, I'm going to be a tzaddik this year. Everything that I learned in the lesson, I'm going to do. But nobody's on the same page. Let them know how important it is to be on the same page. Happy, not angry, loving, caring, forgiving. That's the mantra for Rosh Hashanah. Also, because this holiday lands on Wednesday, we have to do Eruv Tafshilin. Eruv Tafshilin, and pick up another mitzvah before the year is over. Eruv Tafshilin, you got to take a piece of bread or a piece of matzah with another egg or chicken or something. Put them together, say the beracha, and put it in the refrigerator until Shabbat. And on Shabbat you eat it. What does that do? Eruv Tavshilin lets you cook on Friday to Shabbat. Why? You have Wednesday to Thursday, that's one day. Thursday to Friday, that's another day. How are you going to cook from Friday to Shabbat? You can't. So you need to do Eruv Tavshilin. That's what allows you. And this particular holiday season, it also happens in Sukkot. Also happens in Rosh Hashanah. The whole holiday season, we're going to have to do Eruv Tavshilin on Wednesday. So make sure that you tap into that, and don't forget to do that. Typically, the rabbis do it for the entire community, but don't rely on it. Should the rabbi forget, what happens? Can't cook. So make sure to do.
Is it a bracha?
Yeah, it's a bracha. It's in the first few pages of the Siddur. You'll find it over there. If not, look it up, or I'll give it to you. So, like we said, there's 2 days. So let's get started. On the last lesson, this is again a quick review of Rosh Hashanah of day 1. The Din Akashia. The first day is a harsh judgment. What most people don't know, or most people maybe have done Rosh Hashanah for many, many years, and still are not tapping into the fact that the purpose of Rosh Hashanah is to crown the king, to make Hashem king of the world. To crown Hashem king of the world. Most people walk into Rosh Hashanah with a wish list, and I'm sorry for last year, this is what I want for next year. But they're missing out that the real purpose of Rosh Hashanah is to crown Hashem king. And crown Hashem king of the world. Crown Hashem king of Am Yisrael. And most importantly, crown Hashem king over you. That Hashem is the king of you. That's the purpose. Understand that. Get connected to the fact that there's a king over you. And you are his servant. That's the energy. That's what should be coming out of your mouth. You are my king, Hashem. I am your servant. Not the wish list. On this first day, which is Din Akashia, it's a good day for prayer. It's a good day to crown Hashem king. It's a good day to walk the straight and narrow with Hashem. It's a good day to, again, no lashon hara, no idle chatter, no negative energy, no anger, positive attitude. And keep in mind, it's a real challenge. Because not everybody is going to be walking into Rosh Hashanah fully prepared like you. So what happens? Here you are, in that mind frame, and all of a sudden comes your friend that didn't see you in 6 months. And now he wants to talk about the hurricane, now he wants to talk about Bitcoin, now he wants to talk about the shoes he got from over here and the jacket he got from over there. And you're like, and then he wants to talk about what this guy is wearing and about the neighbor, and did you hear about this business deal? And you can't. It's Rosh Hashanah. What do? You have to stay focused. You have to stay focused. You have to get to the point that at any given moment, if Hashem is looking down at you, if it's your time to get judged during those 48 hours, it says, okay, you know what? What is he doing right now? What is he doing right now? He looks down, you're doing a mitzvah. At any given time, you're doing a mitzvah. Why? Because Hashem judges you on who you are at the moment. And we learned that from Ishmael, that we know that when he was in the desert, he was about to die, and regardless of the fact that in the future, a lot of murderers and a lot of people are going to come and try to annihilate the Jews from the seed of Ishmael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm still going to keep him alive. Why? Because at that moment he was a tzaddik. And we learned that Hashem judges a person for who he are and for who he is that moment. So because he chose to keep Ishmael alive because he was a tzaddik that moment, we know that Hashem judges us on who we are at that moment. So should Hashem should your point come in line at 5 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, 6 in the afternoon, and Hashem has to say, okay, let me see what he's doing right now. Be busy in a mitzvah. It's okay, look, he's a tzaddik. He's worried about his Rosh Hashanah. He's worried about his Yom Adin. Fair warning, don't let this day roll over you. Don't let it be like 2 days where you're on vacation from work. Don't let it be, plan your days, plan your nights, plan your free time, plan the time that you're in shul, when you're outside of shul. Find out who you're going to be with. Find out if the person that you're going to walk from shul back home is going to talk to you about Divrei Torah or about the holiday, or is going to talk to you about business. Protect yourself. See who you're going to be around. Walk into the next 48 hours prepared. Prepare your siddur. Prepare where you're going to pray, what you're going to pray about. Walk in prepared. Because the minute that you give yourself some free time, that's when the Yetzer Hara is going to come and attack, and he's going to try to get you to go off the track. Whether it's with words, actions, thinking. Do your mental push-ups. Get strong for this 2-day journey. It's going to be worth it for you. Get yourself ready for this spiritual prime time. It's the top of the top. This is it. This is the holiday season. This next month, if you don't get plugged in now, try to do it in 2 months, 3 months. It's not even close. It's not even close. We'll talk about this time spiral, special energy that's available during these days. This is it. This is it. This is the day that Adam HaRishon sinned, was supposed to die, made teshuvah, and got to live. Think about it. There was a death sentence on Adam HaRishon's head, and he got saved from it. That's the energy that's available to us. Tap into it. Save yourself from anything. It's available on this day. We spoke about, walking into shul on Shachrit. It's very exciting. You get 200, 300, 400 Jews around you. They want to talk. They want to talk. I haven't seen you. What's going on? What are you wearing? The guy right next to you might want to, even between prayers or between the taking out the sefer, this and that, he wants to get engaged in some sort of conversation. What do? We said in the last step, take the siddur, point to the siddur, point to the rabbi, point to Hashem. I can't talk. I can't talk. Let them think what they want to think of you today. You just can't talk. There's no talking in shul. Don't let your neighbor take you out of your spiritual zone. Don't let him take you out. So, on the first day, when we get to Amidah, Amidah is always considered the main goal, the main prayer. So what do you want to do? You want to personalize your prayer. You want to be grateful to Hashem. You want to crown Hashem as king. You want to give all the power to Him. You wanted to do the teshuvah, but again, it's going to be very difficult to make 1 year's teshuvah in the 3-minute Amidah. And this is where most people fail, because as soon as they get to the Amidah, they feel like this is the time where I'm going to be able to really connect to Hashem. How are you going to do that? How are you going to spell out all of the year's sins and all the things that you want to say to Hashem in a matter of 120 or 180 seconds? It's not possible. You still have a chance right now, tonight. You still have a chance tomorrow to sit down with yourself and say, I sinned. I didn't keep Shabbat. I didn't eat kosher. I didn't study enough. I didn't pray enough. Mention the things that you did wrong. Show desire that you want to do it. You know what? I want to get on the right track. I want to do it better. I want it next year. Hopefully, I can get stronger in my prayer. I can stronger in the kashrut. I get stronger in learning. And since it's very hard to do teshuvah, as a matter of fact, the rabbis tell us it's not. The first day is not about teshuvah. Actually, it's not about teshuvah. It's almost, you're not supposed to do teshuvah on Rosh Hashana. You're supposed to crown Hashem king. However, you can always say, Hashem, Timchol, Techaper, V'tislach, Al Chet Avon V'pesha Sha'asiti. In other words, forgive me and every sin that I've done. That's in English. In Hebrew, if you break it down, Techaper, Tislach, V'timchol, it's like 3 different levels of forgiveness about the chet, which is a sin, avon, which is a sin that you did by mistake. Avon is a sin that you did on purpose, and pesha, you brought more people with you. You got more people to sin. So you can say, Hashem, forgive me if I sinned in those 3 different ways, and I prepared myself. I had a little piece of paper where I wrote all the sins. Remember that piece of paper? That's what I'm doing teshuvah on. Then you're able to connect. You can continue. Because as the crowd continues Their prayer, what are you going to do? Still think that sit there and stand and talking to Hashem? All the noise, all the people, you can't concentrate. Prepare your prayer. I can't stress it enough. You need to prepare your prayer. And don't forget to pray for Am Yisrael. And don't forget to pray for Mashiach. And don't forget to ask for a free gift, matnat chinam. These are all things that we spoke about in the previous lesson. We also spoke about tashlich, the whole ritual of casting away our sins to a large body of water, and how it's very important that we do that, and its symbolism. And that was the catch up from last week's lesson. Tonight, I want to go into depth into the second day of Rosh Hashanah, Dina Rafia, which is the softer judgment, the looser judgment that Hashem takes upon himself on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. And at the end of the lesson, some segulot, special things that you can do that have an incredible amount of symbolism on this day and for the following year. On the second day of Rosh Hashanah, things are different only in one way. Meaning, we still have to stay positive, we still can't get angry, we still have to be loving, we still have to be caring, we still have to be forgiving, we still have to be into that zone where we are just going to be in a state of mind of a tzaddik, of a tzaddiket. However, we know that now, since the Dina Kashya has passed, the Dina Rafia means that it's a little bit softer. We can get a little bit, want to bring in a little bit more softer approach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They say, many people have a question, how come Rosh Hashanah is 2 days? How come it's not 1 day? So the rabbis tell us, should it have been 1 day, no one would be able to survive. Nobody can survive Dina Kashya. It's very hard to survive judgment, because all Am Yisrael are tzaddikim. Yes, they are. But the ones that are not, what are we going to do? Who can make it? There's not one person that doesn't sin. There's not one person that doesn't sin. Everyone has their own sins. They say if Rosh Hashanah was just Judgment Day 1 day, we wouldn't be able to survive it. So Dina Rafia is the sweet day of Rosh Hashanah. What happens? Same thing, you wake up in the morning, getting ready. By the way, don't sleep late. Don't sleep late. They say whoever sleeps on Rosh Hashanah, his luck sleeps on him. Find yourself in shul, be one of the first few ones in shul. Be there. Not in Aleinu L'Shabeach, not in Musaf. Be there early. They say if you really find yourself that you can't hold it and you need to sleep, there's a heter to go to sleep at after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But in general, try not to sleep on Rosh Hashanah. So your luck doesn't sleep on you the entire year. So here we are, the second day. You're in the zone. Dina Rafia. You come to the Amidah. What is the prayer of the second day? How is the prayer of the second day different from the first day? Well, you can personalize it different. On the first day, we crown Hashem King. And on the second day, we crown Hashem King as well. We give him all the power. We're grateful. Over here, we're mentioning the Teshuvah. Hashem, forgive us for all that we've done in the past year. But over here, the rabbis tell us, it's good to ask for yourself. Here you ask for Parnasah. Here you ask for Zivug. Here you ask for your children. Here you ask for all your heart's wishes. On the second day, on the Dina Rafia, let it go. And this is something that you should all know, that prayer has to be detailed. Prayer must be detailed. You can't tell Hashem, you know what's in my heart, you know what's good for me, take care of me. You know what I need. That's not going to go. That type of general tefillah shows that you didn't put your work in. The tefillah of Rosh Hashanah needs to be, Hashem, I need a zivug, a woman that has good midot, that she comes from a good family, that she's on the right track, that she's keeping Torah and mitzvot, that she's ready to get married, and that she would love me, and that together we'll be compatible. And after when we meet, we'll have a tremendous, very strong love that will bring us closer to want to get married. And once we get married, we'll have a beautiful event. We'll start the Jewish family, and Be'ezrat Hashem will be a chelik of Am Yisrael. In other words, don't say Hashem, hook me up. I want to get married. Details. Hashem, I'm going to open up a business this year. I want to make millions. No. Hashem, please, I'm going to open up a brand new business. Bring me atzlacha. That Be'ezrat Hashem, this is the type of business that I'll be able to make a tremendous amount of money that will help me to buy kosher food, put my kids through Jewish school, that I'll be able to get my wife all the clothes and all the jewelry that she needs, and that Be'ezrat Hashem I'll be able to protect my family with a good home and and give them everything in detail. You want to give them the reason why Hashem is giving you the money, not because you want a yacht or you want a fast car, because you need it in order to do mitzvot, so you can give tzedakot, so you can give donations, so you can help out the poor, so you can sponsor classes. Ask for that in detail. That's, you know what, you have a case. You have a case. The one that says, make me a millionaire because I need to, not so much. And after you pray for yourself, pray for Am Yisrael. Never forget that you're just one. I think right now we're 14 million or even a little bit more. You're one of 14 million. If you open up the Siddur, it's all in plural. Everything talks in plural. There's nothing in the Siddur is going to be in singular form. Everything is going to be in plural because we are all one. Pray for Am Yisrael. Pray that if there's a Jew out there that needs a bracha, v'atzlacha, or yeshut in briut, in their health, in their finances, if somebody needs help in a zivug, in shlom bayit, if they need help in all their troubles that they're going through, I'm depositing my prayer l'tovat Am Yisrael. Take my prayer and use it for the well-being of Am Yisrael. Because believe it, whether you know this or not, you better believe that there's not just rabbis and tzaddikim that are praying for you right now, but there's good Jews out there that are praying for another Jew on the other side of the planet. There's a Jew in Israel that's praying for a Jew in China. And there's a Jew in Australia that's praying for a Jew in Africa. We're all praying for one another. We don't know which prayer is getting answered. You think you're praying and your prayer is the one that's getting answered. But maybe it's the Jew from the other side of the world. His prayer for you got answered. Pray for Am Yisrael. We are all one. And pray for the time of Mashiach. We're in it. This is the time of Mashiach. Pray for it. I'd love, it's a whole other class. But all the events around us are showing us that it's a time of Mashiach. It's time to pray for it. If it was a distant thought, or if it was a distant concept in your mind, pray for it. Am Yisrael needs Mashiach now more than ever. The world is getting upside down. And at the end of it all, pray that your prayer will be answered from Matnat Chinam. You want it as a free gift. Moshe Rabbeinu in Parashat Vayetchanan taught us that when you pray, ask for a free gift. Ask for a free gift. There's a place in the Shamayim called Otzar Chinam, and that you want all your prayers to be answered from there. You don't want to use up your credits. Who knows if we even have credits? And Hashem says, ask for your prayer to be answered from that Otzar, and you may be granted. The tzaddikim know this. Now, we know it too. Let's pray for it. That's the prayer part. And you have to understand that Rosh Hashanah, how many mitzvot are Rosh Hashanah? Not much. What do we do at Rosh Hashanah? The main mitzvah of all mitzvot is to hear the shofar. That's the big one. The other one is to pray. And the third mitzvah, I would say the seudah. That's it. It's not like Sukkot, you have lulav, etrog, build the sukkah, You have to go here, you have to go there. You don't have that. It's not like Pesach, Matzot. You have the Seder night. It's completely different. If you think about Rosh Hashanah, the one thing, the ikar, is to hear the shofar. The rabbis tell us if you have a big synagogue, 300, 400 people, you have a full minyan, beautiful chazan, but no shofar, and you have that little house on the prairie, a little house next door, 5 people, they can't even get a minyan, but they have a shofar, go over there. The mitzvah is the shofar. More than minyan. Let's talk about the shofar. The shofar, the word shofar comes from the word meshaper. It enhances, it makes better. Makes things better. Apparently we know that the shofar confuses the Yetzer Hara. As soon as he hears that shofar blowing, he gets confused. He thinks that Mashiach is coming. And he doesn't have time to prosecute. He's too busy running away. He doesn't have the time to katreg. So we blow the shofar at an auspicious time. The time when Hashem is ready to sign, ready to make decisions. We blow the shofar so the prosecuting angel is not doing his best work on the biggest day of the year. Many people chase the mitzvah of going to sick people, blowing the shofar for them. See that sometimes the elderly, some people that are not feeling well during these times, it's a mitzvah to actually go to them so they can get the mitzvah of the day to hear the shofar. The shofar is meshaper. So many things can be said about the shofar. So many things. But when people hear the shofar, several things happen. They don't know what to think. Certain people, as soon as they hear the well, they close their eyes and say, $1 million Hashem, this year $10 million. And he's going to tell you, zivug. Hashem, this year zivug. Everyone does it's like the alarm clock to the wish list. Okay, now wish for it. It's as if like as soon as they blow the shofar, that's when Hashem is listening. The truth is, the shofar has many segulot. Many. But throughout the years, I picked up a couple of exercises for the blowing of the shofar that are absolutely amazing. Tremendous. They say, what should you think of when you hear the shofar? What should you think of when you hear the shofar blowing? Well, for anyone who prepared for Rosh Hashanah, they went through a process. And the process is that one, they were doing teshuvah on the previous year, and they're regretting their last year's actions. And they also prepared the list of how they want to be in the next year, the following year. So anyone who really took the time of Chodesh Elul up into Rosh Hashanah did all the soul searching. This wasn't good. I got to delete this out of my life. I got to do teshuvah on this. And also had some introspect on the next year. I want it to be like this. I want it to be a little bit different. I want to take this up upon myself. I want to stop doing, we know that the formula is Modev Ozev Yerucham. Admit what you did, leave it behind, you're not going to do it again, and then you activate Hashem's measure of mercy, Yerucham. You're going to get the measure of mercy on your judgment. So as you're doing this Modev Ozev, that you're admitting, leaving it behind, taking upon yourself some new things that are going to enhance your next year, you're basically shedding a new skin. You're changing your identity. Last year is the old you, and the next year is the new you. Because the old you already deleted the things that you don't like about the old you. The new you is you minus those things, plus all the good things that you taken upon yourself. So you're a new person. You got upgraded. If you did the work during Elul, you're a different person. Most people that walk into Rosh Hashanah after Chodesh Elul, they should have gone through an identity change. It's them 2.0. So what happens when you hear the shofar? What is it actually? It's the alarm clock to your new life. That's what it is. As you hear the shofar go, that's it. Here it is. My new life. My new life is here. My new soul is here. My new version of myself is here. Last year's me is gone. My new me is here. And that's what you think of. As the shofar is blown, the new me is here. Now we know that in Akedat Yitzchak, in the previous lessons we discussed how Yitzchak got an upgraded soul during the Akedah. And because it happened to Yitzchak on that day, that means it's available to us as well. So if you're getting a brand new neshama, if Hashem is giving you that 1 year extension on your life, right now you got the extension, 1 year lease, 1 more year. Because that's what's happening in Rosh Hashanah. You're just getting the extension for 1 more year. We live for 1 year at a time. You're not guaranteed 120 years. What you're guaranteed is to come back to Rosh Hashanah and get an extension for another year. That's what you're guaranteed. Nobody says you're going to live to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 120. Nobody says that. Hashem says, I'll talk to you next year. Let's see what we're going to do. It's like this landlord that only wants to rent you the apartment for 1 year. We'll talk next year. So as you're getting this extension, you're getting a new life. You're getting a new life. You're getting 1 more year. So what happens? The shofar is blowing. And a good mental exercise for the people that like to do meditation, or people that like to connect things and to feel it, mind, body, and soul. As the shofar is blowing and the chazan is blowing the thing, tekiyah, teruah, or shevarim, close your eyes and take that breath in like it's your new soul. For example, the chazan is blowing the shofar, you take a he's doing the tekiyah. Go. It's my new soul. Go. It's my new soul. It's the new me. I'm getting a new neshama. The shofar is blowing out my new neshama. It's happening now. It's a brand new me. And this brand new me, this brand new you, is what you want to walk out of on Rosh Hashanah. The shofar is the alarm clock to your new life, to your upgraded soul. If you don't feel that you're a new person on Rosh Hashanah, you didn't do the work in Elul. But right now we're 1 day before. It's never too late. It's never too late. As a matter of fact, just to show you how what a merciful God we have. Rosh Hashanah is Yom Adin, Judgment Day. And what does Hashem do? Hashem does Din v'cheshbon. What's Din v'cheshbon? He says first he does judgment, then he makes the calculation. It's backwards. Usually make the calculations, then you do the judgment. How is it possible that Hashem does Din v'cheshbon? So look at this. Let's say you didn't do your work in Elul. Let's say tonight you're not going to sit down and do some soul searching. Let's say tomorrow, right before your judgment day, most people before they go to court, they're shaking, they're preparing, they're speaking to their lawyers, they're building their case. Let's just say you're the type of person that just doesn't care or didn't do it or wasn't able to do it. What do? A merciful God says, I'll do Din and Cheshbon with you. First on Rosh Hashanah, I'll do the Din. Plus, minus, black, white. Let's do the calculations. This is the dry judgment. I give you 10 days after the judgment to do cheshbon. Let's do calculation. Maybe you'll do a mitzvah. Maybe you'll do teshuvah. Maybe you'll do something. Hashem first gives the din, then he says, okay, now let's work it out. It's opposite in human life. In human life, it's like, let's work out the thing and then we'll do the final judgment. Go to a court and tell them, okay, give me the judgment and I'll work things out with my lawyers after. No such thing. First they do the workout, arbitration, back and forth, prosecutor, defender. Then they come to the final judgment. Not the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Not Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu does it complete. He says, even if you didn't get to that point, I give you 10 extra days to make up for it. Wow, what a concept. What a loving God. So when you hear this shofar and you feel it's a brand new soul, or maybe it just was the alarm, like, woo, I'm waking up. Wow, I did nothing. No teshuvah this year. Hashem says you got 10 more days. But don't be part of that club. Be better than that. That's mostly the Rosh Hashanah prayers and the shofar. Much more can be said, but we'll leave it at that for right now. I wanted to speak about the Rosh Hashanah table. Besides the fact that Jews love to eat and eat good food, the Rosh Hashanah is a very unique Jewish holiday. Because the food that we eat on that day has important significance. Each food is symbolic. And symbolic of a Jew's life and the Jew's upcoming year. When we sit on the table, you find things that we usually never find on the dinner table. Practically things that we see possibly once a year. And what do we do during that time? We have a whole tekes of the things that we eat and the things that we say before we eat them. So typically we find on the table apples and honey, dates, leeks, spinach, pomegranate, pumpkin, and some people, those are the basic ones that you usually find in most of the sidurim. And then later on, some people even add some more pieces, some more different things, some more symbolic foods. I'll go through some of the basic ones. For example, the apple and honey, the most popular and famous food on the Shabbat table. Did you know that the honey that's to be used on Rosh Hashanah is meant to be bees' honey? So what is the chidush there? Why does it have to be bees' honey? Basically, if you ever opened up a page of Gemara and they mention over there, or in the Chumash, when they speak about honey, Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, when they say Dvash, honey, in the Torah or in the Gemara, it's honey that's made from dates. Always. Yet on Rosh Hashanah, they ask us to use honey not made from dates. Bees' honey. So the question goes, why bees' honey and not date honey like mentioned everywhere else? They say because the bees' honey, the honey made from dates is always sweet. It's always sweet. Date honey, it seems like 100% of the batches always come out sweet. The bees' honey is not always sweet. Some have a stronger flavor, a lesser flavor. Some have some bitterness in it. And they say at Rosh Hashanah we use specifically that. So you say, why? We want a Shana Metuka. We want a sweet year. Let's use the date honey. That one's sweet all the time. So the rabbi says no. Because it's unrealistic that life is sweet all the time. Life has highs, lows, has some dates that are sweet, some days that are bitter. And the bees' honey is more nogea to real life than the honey made from dates, which is sweet all the time. So that's what we use bees' honey. because it's more realistic that life is sweet some of the time. It's highs and lows. So there's things that we say. For example, when we eat the dates, continue on the dates, it says, "Sheitamu oivenu vesonenu," that our enemies should dissipate and our haters should go away, and all the ones that and all the ones that are beseeching bad for us. So you take this date, and you're having this kavanah that all our enemies, regardless of what a person's enemies are. Sometimes we have enemies of the nation. Sometimes we have enemies at work. Sometimes there's enemies in the neighborhood. Sometimes the enemies are in your own home. So you're taking that and saying symbolism. Or sometimes we have the biggest enemy of all, the Yetzer Hara, that wants to get at you. You eat the tamar, you have that symbolism for the year to be saved from your enemy. Imagine, I eat a date, I say on the pasuk, and it has that power. We have lubia. Lubia is green beans. It says over there, that we have a lot of zechuyot, a lot of vetelabevenu, and you should love us. Like the same amount of the little lubiot that are inside, that we should have as many zechuyot, credits. So everyone wants to have a zchut. You don't want things that are going for you, not things that are going against you. It says over here, karti, shikartu evenu v'sonenu, that our enemies should get destroyed. V'chol v'aksheratenu, again, the people that seek to do bad to us or to our country, to our nation, to ourselves. So again, something that you eat and has symbolism. Rimon. That we should be full of mitzvot like a rimon. Ironically, if you open up a rimon, they say it should have 613 seeds. So he said we should be filled like a rimon. Why? Because the rimon has 613 mitzvot. Each rimon is corresponding to the mitzvot that we should have. There's many homes that have the custom to have a rosh keves or rosh dag, the head of a lamb or head of a fish. Me in my house, for many years, we had the custom to have the head of a lamb, rosh keves. If you ever saw it on the table, it's like it's like this goat that never went to the dentist, crazy teeth. It's right in the middle of the face. You see it. Nobody eats it except for my dad. It's like it looks disgusting in a way, but we eat it for what? Liot lerosh v'lo lezanav, to be the head and not to be the tail. And when you can't get that rosh keves, it's a head of a fish. All symbolism. And what's the symbolism? You should be ahead in your business. You should be ahead in your family. You should be ahead. We should be the head in our communities. We want to be ahead. We don't want to be the zanab. So it's all these symbolism when it comes to food. So when it comes to the Rosh Hashanah table, you want to do that. You want to do that. You want to take all these things and you want to give it a kavanah. As a matter of fact, if you want to know, there was a study made. I think it was a Japanese scientist that studied water. And he took water and he yelled at it and cursed at it. And then he put it under a microscope and they were able to see these little formations that were made inside the molecules of the water. And he took another bottle of water, or glass of water, and he spoke to it, and he spoke nicely to it, he said nice things to it, and it formed these beautiful crystals. And they came up with the study that that water or food holds energy. Thank you very much, Professor. We've been doing that for thousands of years. What is the purpose of a beracha? Why do we bless on food? One, because we're thankful to Hashem, but at the same time we're implanting energy in that food. For example, when I eat that tamar and I say Sheitamu oivenu, inside that date is that energy of destroying the enemy. I eat it, it becomes part of me. What's the berachot? Baruch atah Hashem. You know what? Let me do it right now. I can use a drink of water. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakol niya bidvaro. And there it is. All the magic good crystals are inside the water, blessed, and that's part of me. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing over here. It has symbolism, but we're putting the symbolism inside the food. You know, there's also leeks. You can say, you know, when you get to the leeks, you can say, Be'ezrat Hashem, that this year we don't have leaks in our roof.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. It's Florida, huh?
Exactly.
The one time I heard Rabbi Mansour say, he had a funny joke. He said, you should bring also raisin and celery to the table. And he said, Yiratzon, that I should have a raisin salary this year. Or the woman can bring a carrot to the table. Yiratzon, that this year I get a 2-carat ring on my finger. Whatever. Something to bring in the symbolism. But you can see that it's very, very important. And it means a lot. It means a lot to go through this meal and do this all these special foods. However, you should know one thing. On the table becomes very dangerous too. People start to talk, and it goes off the subject. How long can they stay focused on Rosh Hashanah? That's why it's good to prepare the family, drive that direction, prepare to bring to the table some good stories about Rosh Hashanah, some halachot, some rabbi stories, something that will keep them engaged and keep them in the zone. And once the food is done, if you see that it's starting to drift one way or the other, the energy of the night, Birkat HaMazon, with fervor, with happiness, with, you know, this is the Birkat HaMazon of all Birkat HaMazon. This is the one for the entire year. Do it with kavanah. Excuse yourself, go to sleep. Protect that spiritual zone. There's some virtues that I would like to share with you. Certain things that you can do, and with this I'll finish. Certain things that you can do in the next 48 hours that can absolutely change the outcome of the next year. They say it's good to set up the Rosh Hashanah table early afternoon. There's a pasuk in Tehillim that says, "Taruch lefanai shulchan neged tzorai." Set a table before me in front of all my enemies, all the ones that plan against me. By doing that, they say the person can get saved from all tzarot. Levayit hazeh kol oto hashana. He says there's not going to be any hardships in that home that year. Think about it. He set up a table on tomorrow afternoon for Rosh Hashanah, and there's a segula shelo yavou tzarot lebeto kol oto shana. There's a custom to give 18 coins as a tzedakah right before the lighting of the candles. So find yourself in a grocery store or go to the bank, get a couple of rolls of change, put 18 for you, 18 for your wife, 18 for your children, and sit over there and do the segula of 18 coins before the holiday. Because tzedakah tatzil memavet. Tzedakah can save you from death. We spoke about the special knife on the Rosh Hashanah. It's a good segula for Parnasah. The ladies, if they're able to bake bread, it's a good time to bake bread and do afrashat challah. Pick up another mitzvah along the way. Pick up another mitzvah right before Rosh Hashanah. But they say this particular bread has to be unique. It has to be round and smooth. No sesame, no, not to put anything on top of it. And the reason why it has a lot of symbolism is because Hava, the Adam's wife, she's the one that brought some troubles to the world, brought death to the world with what happened with Adam HaRishon. So just like we are fixing the sin of Adam HaRishon in so many different ways that we learn, that a lot of the things that we do are to fix Chet et Adam HaRishon. So the women also have a share in that. They're doing they're fixing the Chet of Hava. And one way to fix the Chet of Hava is to do the Chala on Rosh Hashanah. You know, when you go to sleep, you're prone to dreams. Dreams are very important. You don't want to have a bad dream on Rosh Hashanah. It's not a good sign. So the rabbis tell us to get saved from bad dreams on the Rosh Hashanah. Read the first 4 perakim in Tehillim. Read Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet before you go to sleep, and go to sleep. And you're guaranteed not to have a bad dream. Because you don't want to have a bad dream on Rosh Hashanah. Bad sign. Read 4 Pirkei Tehillim, you should be alright. Don't sleep on Rosh Hashanah. Make sure you're on good terms with everyone on the table, good terms with your family, not to get angry, to be forgiving. Tomorrow, there's a big segula to fast. There are people that fast on the first night, on the day right before Rosh Hashanah, and it has a tremendous effect on the outcome. Some even do a Ta'anit Dibur. People don't talk till like the afternoon, mid-afternoon, or possibly even until Rosh Hashanah. And the rabbis tell us anyone who can take that upon him can save himself up to 1/3 of the judgment. It's unbelievable that you can do something like that. I got today a list of some other incredible segulot. It says it's a good sign to use red apples on the table. It's a good segula for zivug, to find soulmate. It's a good segula for shlom bayit, and even for getting pregnant. How do you like them red apples? Remember we were talking about the fish head, or the head of the lamb, or the head. So when you bless on it, what's another kavanah that you have, another intention that you can have on it? You want to ask Hashem that you should be the leader of your household, and not anyone else. Sometimes the children rule the household. Sometimes in this generation you got kids that dictate what the parents are going to do, dictate what's going to happen in the house. Why? Sometimes the parents will do anything just to get the kids quiet. You want that to be a little bit different this year? Take that a piece of that fish head, duda la'yiratzon, and say that it should be sheniyeh lerosh v'lo lezanav, and have a personal kavanah. That'll be the head of my household. Not my children are going to be controlling. I'm going to be controlling. And that can lead my family in the proper direction. That can lead my business in the proper direction. It's a prayer. And also we know that the fish don't blink. So they have a big segula for neged ayin hara. So when you eat that, say also Hashem, protect me from ayin hara. Protect me from the evil eye. So there you go, you eat that fish, and you can activate all that. You know, throughout the entire night, ask Hashem, since you want to be the head of the household, you want to be a head and not the tail, ask Hashem to make you a king, and for your wife to be a queen, and for your children to be princes and princesses, and that you should all act like a king. You should act like royalty, because royalty don't get angry, they don't get worried, and they don't get distressed. Tell me, if you're a king, what do you have to worry about? If you're a queen, what do you have to worry about? Nothing. Act like a king. Hashem, make me a king. Make me a king. You are the king of me. Make me the king of this household. Let me feel like a king. Let me feel like I have no worries. Like I have no stress. Make me feel that I don't need to get angry over anything. When you pray for parnasah, a lot of people, whether you like it or not, that prayer gets checked in almost every year. Hashem, I need parnasah. Please, this year, let me make X amount of dollars. Let this business be successful. A good way to ask Hashem for money is, Hashem, give me money so I can do tzedakah. Give me money so I can do chesed. He says, okay, for that, I agree. But if you're going to say, I need money because I need to pay my mortgage, I need money because, I have all these bills, I'm in debt. Okay, we understand that. But if you tell Hashem, give me the money, I'm a proper vessel. If you put $100,000 in my hand, I'll know how to disperse it properly. Put $1 million in my hand, I'll build a shul. Put $10 million in my shul, I'll support students. So, you know what? To you look like you're a good vessel for money. A person just says, Hashem, just give me money, you give him 100,000, who knows where he's going to end up? In the casino or in the Bahamas? Give Hashem a reason to give you that money. We said about the shofar, I want to stress it out again. Think about who you are. Think about who you were this past year. Think about who you want to be. And feel like you're being reborn. They say in the time of Mashiach, they're going to blow the big shofar. What's the big shofar? In Akedat Yitzchak, they took one horn. And that horn has been stowed away. And in the time of Mashiach, they're going to take that big horn and they're going to blow it. And it's going to be the time of Mashiach. What happens in the time of Mashiach? There's the resurrection of the dead. Right? Tchiyat HaMetim. So, if you're hearing a shofar, think that. Think, the old me is dead. And the shofar blowing is me, reborn. It's the new me. Just like the same way it's going to happen in the time of Mashiach. Make sure you have the right state of mind when the shofar is blowing. Having the proper intent before can make it very easy when you hear it live on Rosh Hashanah. There's one other, for those that are really connected to prayer, in the Musaf, I don't know if you remember on Shabbat, there's always that part where we do the Hazara of Keter Yitenu Lecha. And the second part, it is in the Musaf, in the Hazara of the Amidah, it says, there's a part over there that says, Ayeh. There's a little section over there that says, when it says Ayeh, you should think that you're getting that as extra soul on Shabbat. On the Rosh Hashanah, the rabbis tell us, when you get to that part, whisper one thing that you want from Hashem. One thing during Ayeh. And it should be either Parnasah, good livelihood. 2, righteous children. Or 3, Ruach HaKodesh. Now you can only choose one. Each one knows what they really need for their own life. If they want righteous children, or if they need Parnasah this year, or if they need Ruach HaKodesh, depends on which level you're on. They say Nayeh. It's a good time to plug in that request. On the Rosh Hashanah table, it's very hard to say this to Sephardic Jews, but try not to have spicy. And try not to have sour things. Try to have only sweet things on the table. It all depends. Sometimes for people, the spicy is the sweet. That's what makes it good. It's you leave it to people's discretion. But try to have a lot of delicious sweet foods on Rosh Hashanah. When you're in shul, for the men, There's aliyot la Torah. There's thing, you can imagine you're in shul, everybody's praying, and while you're in shul, you're picking up another mitzvah. It's a select club. Not everybody can get into that club. That while you're getting judged, you're picking up mitzvah. He says, well, I got to scrap it all. I got to start brand new. He's a new guy. He's this guy with an extra mitzvah. I got to recalculate everything. It's a big, big mitzvah to go up to the Torah on Rosh Hashanah. Or if you get the merit to do Ptichat HaEchal, or Ptichat HaEchal HaParnasah, or to get this Akedat Yitzchak, or any of these haftarot that we have. It's a big segura. Because let's just say, they're doing your case, and all of a sudden, wait. The guy is still fighting for it. He still wants a good outcome for the next year. So try to get an aliyah to the Torah this holiday. It all depends which shul you go to. Sometimes, you go to the bigger shuls, it's hard to compete. You have people over there, 50,000, 80,000, 100,000. You go to a small shul, maybe you'll get away with 500, 1,000, 1,800. Certain shuls, high, double high, 3 times high. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's about going to a place where you can pick up more mitzvot. Think about it. But some of the ones that you can go, remember we said we're going to read Akedat Yitzchak. There's an aliyah over there. I believe it's either the 3rd or the 4th aliyah over there. It says, Vayikach Yaakov ta ma'achelet. When Yaakov grabbed the ma'achelet. So in the shul we always say, who's going to grab the knife for the year? Who's going to grab the ma'achelet for the year? Anyone who gets that aliyah usually gets a big, big segula for parnasah. Same way that we have the ma'achelet, the knife on the table. If a person is having a hard time with children, bearing children, getting pregnant, it says over there that we have the haftarah of Tipaket Hashana. Over there, there's the whole story of Hannah and her how she got the prophet Shemuel. So a person that's having a hard time conceiving children, you should get to that aliyah. Get that aliyah, get that blessing. But Tipaket Hashana, the rabbi is going to bless you that you should have children that year. Big, big one. Also, Hashem Pakadet Sarah. There's also the one over there with Sarah. Ptichat HaEchal for Parnasah. They do that several times. Showing to Hashem, look, I'm giving my hard-earned money, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever the amount is, for Parnasah. I'm supporting Torah, I'm supporting the shul, I'm supporting the community. Help me out. Hashem says, look at this guy, he's fighting for another mitzvah on Rosh Hashanah. And typically what happens also, the person that got outbidded, right? There's a guy that started 180, right? And then it finishes up at $10,000. What happens to that guy? He gets credit too. For what? For effort. For trying. He's trying to get a mitzvah. Hashem says, I noticed you. I heard you. Don't feel bad if you get outbidded. Because the thing is that while you're in shul, maybe it's that one mitzvah that's going to tip the scale for you. Who knows where a person is? All of a sudden you're holding up a sefer, there it is. It's that one thing, the little weight that they put on the scale, and there it is. You won. You won Yom Adin. It's that one mitzvah. You don't know. You don't know. So try to, and the whole thing is, you want to be busy the whole time doing a mitzvah. They say a person who reads the Sefer Tehillim 2 times, it's 150 plus 150, 300 chapters, 300 perakim. The numerical value of that is the word kaper, atone. So anyone who reads the Sefer Tehillim 2 times on the Rosh Hashanah, he gets all his sins atoned for. 2 times on the first day, 2 times on the second day. Sign me up. I'll read that book 2 times. Look how many outs the Chachamim are telling us. How many ways to sweeten the judgment. Imagine that Hashem is now looking at you. You wake up in the morning, you're in shul. You finish shul, you're doing a seudah, divrei Torah, singing, happy, laughing. You finish the seudah, you go for a walk with your friend. What are you guys talking about? Torah, holiday, chidush, parashat shavua, You finish taking a walk with your friend. You're holding a Tehillim book. You're reading Tehillim. You finish that. You're in Tashlich. You finish that. Mincha. This. Come back. You see that you finish the Saudah. You're straight to sleep. In other words, you're keeping yourself busy. Rosh Hashanah finished. Like, okay, that's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. If you are coming out of Rosh Hashanah feeling it's going to be a good year, you did the same thing. You did the right thing. If you don't feel that, if you feel, I don't know, I hope things are going to be okay, you didn't get plugged in. How do you know you got answered? You feel. You feel it was a good Rosh Hashanah. As a matter of fact, how do you know when you're being judged? The rabbis tell us if you feel that you're about to cry, if a tear reaches your eye, and you're ready, and you're about to cry, or you are crying, cry, and take that tear and rub it on your forehead. The rabbis say you're getting judged that moment. That's the moment you're getting judged. If for whatever reason you get emotional and you have a chance to cry, don't hold back, regardless of who's next to you. Let it go, and take those tears and rub it on your forehead. The rabbis say it's a big segula. Anyone who can cry on Rosh Hashanah. The past few lessons, we found out several things. We found out that Hashem judges you on who you are that moment. That's why we're stressing out that you should be involved in a mitzvah the entire 48 hours. We also learned that Hashem judges you on your potential. And Hashem judges you on your ishtadlut, on your efforts that you're making. So, remember that you get judged on who you are on Rosh Hashanah. In other words, you get judged on the product of who you are from the previous year, the teshuvah and the repentance that you've done during Elul, or the way you're behaving that particular moment. So, you have so many outs. You have the way that you were, regardless of what it is. You can come in with 1,000 sins. You did your teshuvah, great. You connected on that day, amazing. You're showing desire to become better. You're doing all these little segulot. Hashem says, keep tapping in, keep plugging it in. More, it's like as if you have a pile this big, and each time you're doing something, more papers are coming up. More papers are coming up. More papers are coming up. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I heard Rabbi Pinto say something unbelievable. He says, you must have almost like spiritual accounting of what you did the entire year. You have to think about it. You have to sit down and you have to write. But he says, even if you had a hiru, a passing thought of teshuvah on what you did, it freezes that moment, or not that moment, that sin, and puts it aside until you do full teshuvah. So imagine, you sit right now and you go, okay, let's go back to the beginning of last year, Tishrei. And you start to go like walking your brain, take a little walk of how was it the first holiday, after the holiday, what did I do? How was what happened in the fall, the winter, in the summer? And you go through all the events, and all of a sudden your mind is bringing up all the sins or all the mitzvot that you did. And when you catch something bad, you're saying, oh, I have to do teshuvah on that. That was bad. And you catch another thing. Oh, you know what? I have to do teshuvah on that as well. Each time you catch one of those things, you freeze it, and they're off the case. In other words, if you're coming with this much sins to the table, if you're doing hirhut teshuvah, it freezes it. You don't get judged on it at that moment. You still have to deal with it, but not that moment. And he says, all of a sudden, you take away, and all of a sudden you're like a pile this much. Why? Because you did hirhut teshuvah. You even thought about wanting to do repentance on that. Look how important it is to just take some time to think about your life. It can actually freeze the sins. It can change the outcome of the following year. Unbelievable. The more I learn about Rosh Hashanah, the more I see how Hashem is constantly just wants us to get out of the judgment. He just wants us to succeed in the Rosh Hashanah. He says, show me your potential, show me your desire. I can get you out. He showed it to us in Hannah. He showed it to us in Ishmael. He showed it to us in Akedat Yitzchak. He gave us so many examples. Bezat Hashem, that we'll show our potential in Rosh Hashanah. And there will be a tzaddik on Rosh Hashanah. That on that day we'll be able to really perform like a tzaddik for 48 hours and secure a favorable judgment for the upcoming year. B'ezrat Hashem, we all have a meaningful Rosh Hashanah. And B'ezrat Hashem, you have a new year filled with health, wealth, happiness, a year filled with zivugim, marriages, children, a year filled with spiritual and financial successes.
Amen.
May all your dreams come true, the Tovat Avodat Hashem. And may the holiday live up to the true first prayer of Rosh Hashanah. If you open up the Siddur of Rosh Hashanah, the first prayer is Achot Ketana. You know what that prayer starts? What that prayer says? It says, Tichle Shana ve'kilolteha. Let that year end with its curses. And then it says, Tachel Shana uvichoteha. And then the new year should begin with its blessings. And that's what we want. We want the year's curses. It's it. This is the last day of the previous year. It's done. Now we want a new year filled with blessings. B'ezrat Hashem, may this class be to the refuah shlema of Azriel Tzvi ben Ziva Sara, David ben Zohara, Zina Sara, the refuah shlema of David ben Zohara, Shmuel ben Amuma, Noam ben Sion, Yeshayahu Yosef ben Zari, Yafet ben Chana. May it be to the Hatzlacha of Rina bat Jacqueline, Shoshana bat Miriam, B'ezrat Hashem, that all the ladies that need the big yeshuot in their personal life, in conceiving, in pregnancies, in ledakala, B'ezrat Hashem, that they all have big yeshuot over there.
Amen.
And B'ezrat Hashem, that we have here good news of zivugim for all the single people that are out there, for Joseph ben Dina, Inbal bat Jacqueline, Batchen bat Jacqueline, David ben Gabriel, Guy ben Dina, בתוך כלל עם ישראל. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we shall all merit to a healthy and happy new year. שיטו ליבכם נחלה פסיגו ונתן למען תספרו דור אחרון, שהשם יברך אתכם וישמח אתכם ושתהיה שנה טובה ומתוקה.
אמן, 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 שכוח.